seed this week. And Steph Curry scored 28 points, and Draymond Green's game-sealing basket had the Warriors saying night-night to the Knicks, 97-94, their 14th win the last 16 games. Malika Andrews and the NBA Countdown crew has more.
Well, gentlemen, you know when Draymond Green is hitting the night-night, we are in for something special. The Golden State Warriors, they've improved, Bob, to 14-1 with Jimmy Butler in the lineup. Draymond said it. He said, we think this team is special, and when we're special, we win championships. What's the ceiling for this group?
I'm back into that answer, Malika. You could say, we're starting with a championship, is what he's saying. Can they beat Oklahoma City and can they beat the Boston Celtics? I think they could beat Cleveland. And it's not a knock on Cleveland. I just think Cleveland hasn't been there in these moments. But so that would mean I don't think, as much as Draymond says, if you make me answer, championships, the final ceiling. But I do think getting the Western Conference Finals possible. I think Oklahoma City has earned the respect and should earn my respect, certainly, of being tough to beat. They got a great defense, and they got probably what will be the MVP of the league on their team. Those two things get hard to overcome. So I view the Warriors, Malika, as a team in a group of, whether it's Denver, I would even put Minnesota in there, maybe the Lakers, of getting to the Western Conference Finals, but beating Oklahoma City is going to be a tough task.
Ceiling is a second-round exit. Throughout this stretch, since they got Jimmy Butler, name me a top dog that they didn't beat out of either conference. They haven't beat the Celtics. They haven't beat the Cavs.
They do have one of the easier strengths of schedule. That is a good
OKC, Denver, the Lakers. So, no, and that's okay. I thought Doris Burke said it best. They're one piece away this offseason from being a legit title contenders. When you look at the title contenders, the top three dogs, Celtics, OKC, the Cavs, they're deep, top to bottom. Like, they got a roster like all 12 guys could play at a high level and be in a playoff rotation. They don't have that with Golden State, and that's fine.
I think Perk is right when he says that, you know what, the likelihood is that it's a second-round exit. I just think he's taking the easy way out. That's all I'm saying. You have to look into consideration this part. The Oklahoma City Thunder are the creme de la creme. They're the number one seed. They were last year. They were this year. Dallas comes up out of nowhere, knocks them off. When you look at the Golden State Warriors with a Jimmy Butler and his experience, with a Steph Curry and his championship pedigree, and what they can do on a basketball court together, especially if Draymond is suddenly hitting open jump shots that they're giving to him. You trying to tell me it's impossible to imagine that they could knock somebody out along the way? I don't think it is. So, again, if I had to bet my money, certainly you go with Perk. And you say, yo, they're going home in the second round. But if you're looking at Steph Curry, and it's a championship on the line, and, oh, by the way, they're the underdog, and they playing with house money because there are no expectations. And the expectations goes on somebody more talented, but younger and less experienced. Excuse me, that is the recipe for an upset. And I think Golden State has that ability.
What is the ceiling then? Ceiling. What's the ceiling?
Conference Finals.
And that is the true definition of straddling the fence.
You call it whatever it is. Didn't we see upset last year?
What's that saying? Don't let me get one? Well, they did get one, and that's Jimmy Butler. And now all of a sudden they're 11 games over 500. The Golden State Warriors. Watch out.
You don't straddle the fence. You just end up wrong.
I'm going to change my
answer.
I'm just
I think this is the end of the segment.
Going with Draymond.
It's the end.
Okay.
39 season. As for a spot atop the all-time leaderboard, there's little reason for concern. Second place, James Harden is still more than 800 threes behind him. Joey Joe in the house. How we feeling, big time?
Rosenberg out, Fortenbaugh in, fresh blood, new sparring partner. I hope these two are hydrated because it's a Friday and they're looking like they might be ripe for an upset here.
I doubt it. I doubt it. But good try. Good try.
Eze, do you feel like Steph can reach 5,000 threes?
I think so, but I think it depends on a couple of conditions. Obviously, his health. That has to stay in play, you know, because health is everything. And his endurance, his conditioning, all of that comes with it because his movement without the basketball is what is never mentioned nearly as much as it should. He is a nightmare to cover. He is the only person in NBA history, which is why I call him the greatest shooter God has ever created. He is the only player in NBA history that you literally have to man up on the second he steps past half court because he can pull up from 40. It's who he is. I mean, he's that great. And so when we look at it from that standpoint, I say, okay, it took you 3 seasons to get from 3,000 to 4,000. Okay, let's say it's going to take you that much now. He just turned 37 today. Happy birthday. Today is his birthday, his 37th birthday. And so you look at it from that standpoint, he'd have to get to 40. Can he continue to move like that over the next 3 years? Can he continue to run around like that over the next 3 years? That's the question. But in terms of his ability to make shots, I have no doubt about that. He's the greatest shooter God ever created. He is just that spectacular. And that's what I say about him. He's a 4-time champion. He's a 2-time league MVP. I think we've only got 7 dudes in NBA history that have pulled that off. And he's definitely in the GOAT conversation, as Shaq alluded to. It's not to say that he is, because there's Jordan and others. But the bottom line is, when you talk about the greatest, considering how he has transformed the game of basketball, the impact that he's had, his name should definitely be mentioned in the conversation. I tell you, he could do it. He just has to last, meaning his condition and being in shape to do it. That's where I'm at with it.
I root yes. If I'm betting, I bet no. The numbers we threw up in terms of the pacing, the 3.9 three-pointers per game, and he would hit this in, his age 39 season, that's based on him playing 82 games a year. If he plays 70 games a year, which is still a big, healthy number, it's going to take 3.5 seasons at the current pace, which again is a pace based on what he's done throughout his career in his prime. Mind you, we're talking about the end of his career, maintaining one of the most ridiculous paces that we've ever seen for a three-point shooter in NBA history, while playing 70 games per season. That would take you into his age 40 season and put you at about 40. Given the risk of injuries.
To brother Tony Allen, who getting his jersey retired down there in Memphis. I got real love for that brother.
Right.
That's number one.
He deserves it. Yeah.
Number two, Steph Curry is the greatest point guard of all time. Greatest point guard of all time. We talk about those 4,000 points and it impacting his legacy, right? Think about what it did to the league. It changed the NBA. It changed basketball forever. You talk about these guys that wish they could take these shots, these kids that wish they. Well, I'm actually in the gym watching these.
I'm not sure that's
trying to take those shots, Bobby.
Right.
And when you think about it, when you think about Steph, he's one of the most skilled players to ever play the game of basketball. Already the best shooter to ever play the game of basketball. Top 5 in handles, right? And when it comes to finishing at the basket, but let me read this to y'all. Steph Curry. Okay, there are only 2 players to win an Olympic gold medal, multiple MVPs, multiple NBA titles, and multiple scoring titles. That's Steph and Jordan.
But it's not just his uncanny ability to shoot the ball, Perk. When we're talking about this team currently, how else does he affect the game, his gravitational pull, if you will?
Well, I mean, it's crazy to say, but sometimes he's a decoy on the floor. And just watch this tape. First of all, this is a playoff-type defense. They are face guarding him. We don't even want you to touch the ball. Okay, you talk about his movement, great screen by,